Hello guys and welcome back to Makeup FOMO. Today we are doing a video that I've actually done once before, but it was a pretty long time ago. I want to say it was like over a year ago at this point, but I wanted to do like a round two, and that is a full face using only samples, like free samples. I have a whole like little bag right here just full of like foils, like little miniature sizes of everything, like just little things that I've gotten with orders. You know how like Ulta and Sephora always send you free samples, or just like those little tester things that you get with certain purchases. And I don't know if I did like a completely full face last time, but this time I have literally my entire face in this bag of like these little tiny sample size things, like every single step of the makeup process. So I'm super excited that I'm able to do this again. It's just kind of a fun little challenge, and I feel like it might help maybe inspire y'all to just like dig through your samples. I don't know about you, but I always just have like a makeup bag full of them and I never really use them, and then I feel like they go to waste. And so this is kind of a good way to just like actually use them up. They're also good for travel, but it's a good way to use them up, and then you never know, like when you start testing some of these little things out, you might actually find a product that you really like and might want to get the full size of. So that's what we are doing today. I hope y'all enjoy, and let's get started. Okay, so I just counted, and like including all of the little sample size things I have here in front of me, I have 28 different little products. So I don't want to make this video forever long, but I do just really want to test all of this stuff out, and also I kind of just want to use up like a lot of these little foil packets that I have. So for that reason, I'm going to include like my skincare steps in along with the other like makeup steps that I'm going to be doing. So the first thing I want to test out is this little Bite Beauty little duo that came with the Sephora birthday gifts this year. This little guy is from Bite Beauty, and it includes their agave lip balm and then also their agave sugar lip scrub. So I've heard actually people rave about these before, and I've never given them a try, but I really want to try them out since I have them and I've heard such good things. So I'm gonna of course start with this lip scrub. It smells so good. That was not what I was expecting at all. It like looks like it's gonna be like just a big thing of like honey and sugar, and it smelled really good, and at first I thought it was gonna taste awesome, kind of like the Lush ones. That tasted horrendous, like really bad. I mean, my lips feel a little like softer. As you can tell, they're like very red because I just scrubbed the crap out of them. Yeah, they feel better, but oh, that tastes awful. Okay, so now I'm gonna try the agave lip balm. I'm like really hoping that this doesn't not taste the same as that, because that was really bad, but maybe it'll be different. So let's see. So that definitely doesn't taste nearly as bad as the lip scrub. It actually doesn't really smell or taste anything like it. What I'm actually realizing is this little packet, it's just like basically like a little wax ball of the lip balm, I guess. And so I just like coated my lips pretty generously, and it's still pretty much completely full. So actually I think this is a little sample that you could probably use like a ton of times before it's gone. So that's kind of nice. Okay, so now I have 3 different little like skincare type products that I want to try out. This seems like it's just gonna be some kind of like moisturizing type cream gel. This is called the L'Occitane Immortelle Divine Cream. And on the back, all it says is the Immortelle Divine Cream is a complete skincare which helps fight against the visible signs of aging. Y'all, this smells like a craft store. Like a store that has like fake flowers and stuff. So I know that's kind of a weird way to describe the scent, but I actually love it. Like, oh, that's like one of my favorite smelling lotions I think I've ever used. It smells so good. As y'all can probably tell, my skin's been like a little bit out of whack lately. So I'm really hoping that none of these products that I'm testing out, that obviously I've never used before, I just am praying that they don't irritate my skin further and give me more breakouts, because So this next product that I want to try is this It Cosmetics Bye Bye Lines Serum. This says that it's an advanced anti-aging wrinkle smoothing miracle concentrate. These kind of products actually really intrigue me. This is more or less like it was a little bit thicker than like your normal serum, but a little bit thinner than like a moisturizer. I feel like it was like a thinned out moisturizer, kind of like a moisturizer serum like hybrid. Because when I think serum, I think like very thin and almost gel or like water-like. So this is a little thicker than I would have expected it to be. So this next product that I want to try out is this Clarks Botanicals Anti-Puff Eye Cream. So as y'all probably noticed, I do have some pretty serious dark circles going on. This says this anti-puff eye cream specifically targets stubborn puffiness, dark circles, yes, and wrinkles, yes, with a high concentration of active botanicals and vitamins. So this definitely looks a lot more like a gel than like your typical eye cream. Like it's basically just like a clear gel. So this is probably my favorite thing that I've used so far. The way that felt like under my fingers and like rubbing into under my eyes, it felt so like smooth and almost like silicone-y. Not exactly, but it had that like really smoothing like consistency to it. It was like just the right amount of thick but also creamy, and it just like melted into my eyes, and my eyes feel a little bit cooling. Like they feel cool but also very hydrated. My skin in general just feels very hydrated right now. And this is definitely probably a little bit of overkill, but I lastly just want to test out this Glam Glow Illuminating Moisturizer. This is called their Glow Starter Mega Illuminating Moisturizer in the shade Nude Glow. This is to apply all over your face, wear alone, or layer with your favorite foundation. I do want to just put this like where, because it's illuminating, I want to put it in the places that I want to be illuminated. So I'm just going to put this like kind of on my upper cheekbone areas, and also like kind of down my nose, a little bit on my forehead. Okay, so I guess that did give me like a little bit of glow. I feel like it was nothing like too noticeable. Like I feel like y'all can just kind of see a little bit of light bouncing off my skin, but I feel like it was doing that with just the moisturizers that I had on before. So this next product I'm actually super excited to try because I've never tried it before, but I've heard about it a ton, and it is the Smashbox Primerizer. This is a primer and moisturizer in one, so good, as if I don't have enough moisturizer on my face already. It does say on the back here that it can be used with or in place of a moisturizer. So now we're kind of on to the priming step rather than like the skincare step. It feels really nice on the skin. It doesn't really seem to have much of a scent, and the texture was very thin and like serum-y, like not like your typical moisturizing primer. It was very like thin and kind of gel-like, which did feel really nice. And so this last priming step before foundation, I want to test out this Peter Thomas Roth Skin to Die For No Filter Mattifying and Complexion Perfecting Primer. So as y'all probably know and can also tell just by what I've used so far in this video, I do really like and prefer a luminous finish to my foundation. But this says that it instantly helps reduce the look of pores, fine lines, and imperfections with a natural looking matte finish. So what I mostly want to use this for is just the pore reducing quality rather than like the mattifying quality. So I'm literally just going to specifically apply this right on my pores, right on either side of my nose. So like 10 products later, my skin is fully prepped, hydrated, primed, and ready for foundation. So I've used this before actually, but it's the only foundation that I have in a little free sample size, and this is the Becca Ultimate Coverage Foundation. This is their 24-hour foundation in the shade Driftwood. If y'all didn't see, I did a video. Basically, I got a whole packet of free little Becca products, so I did a whole video just kind of testing all the different products out. So if y'all haven't seen that, I will link it below and put it in the eye so you can check it out. That was actually where I used this foundation. So I don't know if y'all can tell, this is definitely too dark for me right now. I'm definitely like kind of at my fairest, and this is definitely like a summer shade for me. But can y'all see how much of a difference that made? Like when they say ultimate coverage, like they mean ultimate coverage. This is super full coverage without using a lot of product. And as you can tell, I mean, I have a lot of illuminating products on underneath it, but like even though it's full coverage, you can still see a lot of luminosity like peeking through it. So this is what my face looks like with the foundation. Isn't it just gorgeous? I'm not really like one to go crazy over high-end foundations because I have so many drugstore foundations that I love everything about for like a quarter of the price of a high-end foundation, but this is one that I just fall in love with every time I use the sample. Which this is what I was telling you guys. This is why using your little free samples is so handy sometimes. Like, I would never probably have thought to try this had I not received this. And now that I've tried it, my like mind is opened up to a whole new foundation that I absolutely love, all because I tried the sample. So next for concealer, I actually have two of these little like paper foil insert kind of things. One of them is the Urban Decay All Nighter, and then the other is the Born This Way. So I think just based on the shades here, I'm gonna probably use the All Nighter for under my eyes because they have some really light shades on here. The lightest shade in the Too Faced is the Vanilla, which I think, I don't know if that would be light enough for under my eyes, but it'll probably maybe match just like my skin. As you can tell, it is way too light for my skin with this foundation in particular. I think if the foundation shade wasn't so dark and it like matched my skin right now, then this concealer shade would actually probably match a lot better. But because my face is a little darker than it should be, this is like way too light and like very stark. So yeah, hopefully we can fix this with some powder. So now just to spot conceal, I'm gonna use the shade Vanilla in the Too Faced Born This Way. It says it's an undetectable medium to full coverage. So I'm hoping this will match, and maybe if this is a better shade, I'll blend some of this under my eyes just to kind of help the concealer melt in a little bit better. Okay, so I think that blending that, just kind of mixing it a little bit underneath my eyes definitely helped tone down how like stark white that original Urban Decay concealer looked. But adding it to the rest of my foundation, actually it matched the actual shade of the Becca foundation perfectly. Like, it blended right in on like my chin and my other blemishes. I do still think for that reason, because it matched my foundation that is too dark, that this is also a little bit too dark. So next I'm going to powder my face. This is actually like a really big sample size. This might even be more or less like a travel size. And it is the Bella Pierre Banana Setting Powder. It's, like I said, it's a big size, but it is technically like a free-ish travel / trial size product. So I don't know if this is cheating a little bit, but I'm gonna use that under my eyes. But this is the Cover FX translucent powder. It's just like this little baby guy. And so I'm going to use the banana powder under my eyes, of course. And then even though this Cover FX powder is so small, I'm gonna try to get enough out of it to use on the rest of my face, because these are literally the only two like trial / sample size powders that I have. I have to say, I'm really not the biggest fan of this banana powder, only because I just feel like it's like a little too yellow. And I know that's kind of the point, because yellow is color correcting and all this, but I feel like my under eyes look very, very yellow. I'm not sure if the camera's gonna pick it up as much as I can see in person. It might also be because my under eyes were just basically like white before I put this on, so the color just really kind of stuck to it, but my under eyes look yellow. I do have to say that I really, really love the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. I know this is one of those powders that people like rave about, like kind of like the Laura Mercier loose powder. Like, it's just one of those kind of cult favorites that everyone swears by, and I totally get why. Like, it really does set your face, but with a really nice, like, still skin-like, like almost like a satin finish. So for brows, I have this super tiny little Benefit Give Me Brow. How freaking cute is this? I got this as just like a free little thing when I was at Ulta, like in store one day. They were giving these out. I have it in the shade 3. This is the only brow product that I have. Typically, I would not only use a brow gel. I would normally use like a pencil or like an eyebrow pomade and actually go through my brows with that first, and then I would set it with something like this. But like I said in the beginning, I want this to be legitimately only free samples. So today I'm only gonna use this little guy. So these are my brows after just kind of running that through them. And they look, I mean, they definitely are a little bit darker than they were before I used this. It doesn't really add, you know, much shape or anything, but it just kind of darkens them and defines them and gives them, you know, a little bit more definition. So next for bronzer, I have this adorable little Ciate bamboo bronzer. And even though it's a really small little sample, it's still like a big enough size where like you can fit, you know, a bronzing or a contouring brush in the pan. And there's a decent amount of product in here. This is one of those samples that like I've used before and I've kept just because it's a great shade and it has so much product in it that you can use it over and over and over. So I actually just realized after reading the back of this a little closer that the product is called Bamboo Bronzer and then the shade is called Palm Island. And so as you can kind of tell, this is like a very, very light bronzer. Like I had to really layer it up even to get this much color. And as you can tell, like it didn't give me a ton of color. It's like a light wash, but it's not really like as much definition as I typically like with my bronzers. I usually do go a little bronzer crazy. So I'm gonna skip past blush really quick. We're gonna come back to it, but I wanna move on to highlight really quick only because I actually have two and they're both like liquid slash balm type products. The first one I have here is actually from Ulta Beauty. It's their liquid illuminator in the shade Starlight. And then I also have this Flesh Beauty Touch Flesh highlighting balm. It's in the shade 110 Pinky. So I'm super excited to try both of these. So I think what I'm gonna do is just put the Ulta one on one side and the Flesh on the other side. I know they're gonna be completely different colors, but I kind of just want to use both. And then if I like one more than the other, I can always cover the other one up. Okay, so I used the Ulta one on this side. I didn't like over powder my face because I knew that I was gonna be using these products, but there is, I'm sure, a little bit of powder underneath. But it actually looks amazing. Like it's a very sheer, like subtle highlight. Kind of just looks like you're a little glowy, but it like melted into my skin so beautifully. It didn't get all weird underneath the powder like a lot of like liquid products will do if they're layered over a powder. So on this side I have the Flesh little balm highlighter in the shade Pinky. This is definitely a lot more of an intense glow. This side I feel like, as you can kind of tell, is just a really natural, like lit from within kind of glow, where this side is kind of like bam, like in your face. And I think you can see the pink a little more. This side looks pink, whereas this side just kind of looks a little bit more nude. But I love me like a pinky champagne highlighter, so this is right up my alley. I put some obviously on my nose and on my forehead as well. I will say this is a lot easier to use because you literally just draw it on and then rub it in with your finger. So it's easier to apply and it's also easier to control the amount of product, whereas with the Ulta one, like you have to squeeze it out and then rub it in, and so like I did, you can definitely use too much. So next for blush, I actually have my little NARS Orgasm. So I'm sure y'all have seen this before, but this is NARS like cult classic blush. It's just a nice baby shimmery pink. Believe it or not, I have not tried this before, so I'm actually so freaking excited. Okay, so no wonder everyone's freaking obsessed with this blush. This is so stunning. Also, there's a little mirror in here, which is so cute, and it's actually like big enough to kind of use to actually apply your blush if you ever need to use it for that. No wonder everyone loves this. This is the most perfect, just like everyday blush. It's got like a little bit of luminosity to it. This will go with any look. Most skin tones I think this would work for. You might just have to use a little bit of a heavier hand with a darker skin tone. Oh no, my battery's dying. Why? So now just to set all of that in, I'm just going to use this super adorable little baby Too Faced Hangover RX 3-in-1 setting spray. I've actually used this before and I love it. Y'all, I freaking love the smell of this. I wish they would make this into like a body spray. Alright, so we are getting towards the end, y'all. I know this video is probably already super long, but I'm just so chatty. I can never shut up, and I'm having a lot of fun. So next for eye products, this is kind of hard because I don't have like a sample of like an eyeshadow palette or even like really a free like eyeshadow single sample, but I did discover these two. This is a little tiny Bare Minerals eyeshadow in the shade Soft Focus Velour. It's kind of just like a dark brown. And then I also have this little crayon from Nude Sticks, and it's just called their Magnetic Luminous Eye Color in the shade Smoke. So this is what this looks like. It's this Nude Sticks. I'm assuming this is the color. Yeah, so I actually kind of think these will go together fairly well. So I think what I'm gonna do, A, just to keep it simple, and B, because I only have 2 products to work with anyway, so it kind of has to be simple, I'm just gonna lay down the Nude Sticks in Smoke. I'm just gonna lay that down all over my eye and probably just blend it out with my finger, and then either top it with this Bare Minerals shade or maybe just blend this Bare Minerals shade into the crease and kind of just do more or less like a blown out one shade kind of eye look, and we'll see how that goes. So here's what I'll say about this Bare Minerals shadow. Obviously, like everything else Bare Minerals makes, this is a loose shadow, and so as I think you can see, I got actually quite a bit of fallout when I first went in with it. I didn't tap it off well enough, clearly, and so it's just something to be careful of. I think I would not typically reach for something like this just because I feel like there's no reason for an eyeshadow to be in a loose form. Like, why does it need to be loose? I mean, I feel like a packed shadow makes a lot more sense. The Nude Stick shade is just like a really cool like metallic-y gray brown, and then mixed with this matte, also cool toned brown. I think they go really well together, and it's a very simple but still smoky and grungy look. So next for eyeliner, I just have this little Eyeshadow skinny liquid liner pen. A pretty decent size. It's got a very big applicator. It looks like it's a felt tip applicator, and it's pretty thick, but I'm glad that it's this size because it's actually making it very easy to like fit in your hand, and it's easy to use and easy to handle. I think if it was any smaller, you probably wouldn't be able to like use it because it would be too small for your hand. This actually surprised me quite a bit. This was much easier to use than I thought or than I remember. It was like I think it's because the applicator is like very stiff, which I feel like typically would sound like a bad thing, but because it was so stiff, you were able to kind of just like lay it down and just kind of round around your lash line, if that makes sense. But it made doing the wing, which I don't think my wings are even like whatsoever, so don't mind that, but it made making the wing super easy because it followed along exactly where I wanted it to go rather than kind of like bending and getting wonky, if that makes any sense. I think y'all know what I mean. It's actually not bad at all. I would definitely keep using it. So I have 2 mascaras I want to try out. This is the Butter London Double Decker, and then I also have this Clinique High Impact mascara. I'm gonna start with the Butter London first. It claims to make your lashes 200% thicker, 314% increase in lash curl. It says it's formulated to lengthen, curl, and multiply lashes from root to tip. And so to give it a real true test, I'm not even gonna curl my lashes. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like I really expected that to do a lot more than it did. Like, I mean, my lashes look okay, and I will definitely say that they do look curled. Like, I think they look as if I had curled them. This is typically like what I would get after using my eyelash curler, so I'll definitely give it credit for the curl. I mean, they don't look bad by any means, but for some reason I thought they were just gonna be like bam, like super like thick and long and curled and full. But so next I'm going to layer this Clinique High Impact mascara on top of it. That's in the shade Black. This says High Impact, so hopefully this doesn't let me down and actually gives me a little bit more impact than that one did. This is also just a typical standard bristle brush. It's a little bit smaller, but it looks like a very, very standard mascara wand, honestly. Like, there's nothing innovative about this at all. I think what the Clinique mascara did was just like separate them a little more. Like, I feel like they're a little bit more just like defined. but I don't think it added like a ton of volume or length either. Like I don't think either of these are like super high impact or like intense like they claim to be. So last but not least, we have lips. I actually have a few different options. I have this little Butter London lip gloss. I have this super cute little Bite Beauty like a bullet lipstick, and then I have these two different colors from Nude Sticks. This top one is called their Magnetic, I don't know why it's called Magnetic, but Magnetic Matte Lip Color, and then this one is called their Intense Matte Lip and Cheek Pencil. Oh shoot, I should have used that as like a cream blush. I didn't even realize that. I'm kind of leaning towards these two just because this little Bite thing is so freaking adorable and cute, and I've never used a Bite lip product, and I also just kind of feel like these shades are gonna go well together. So I think I'm gonna do this combination. This is the Bite Beauty Amuse Bouche lipstick in the shade Chai, and then this is the Butter London Plush Rush lip gloss in the shade Flirt. I think that they'll pair pretty well together. I think that's gorgeous. I think that's a stunning lip color, don't you? What I will say is this Bite lipstick smells so good. I mean, it really just smells minty, almost like mentholy, but in a good way. I really like how that smells. I don't think that the lip gloss had much of a smell, but like it's wafting up to my nose and it smells super good. All right, you guys, so that is everything for this video. I did this entire look using free samples, which is just such a cool thing. Like I said earlier, I'm just fascinated and excited about the fact that I got an entire like really actually decent face full of makeup all the way to eyes, lips, everything for completely free. So I just think this is kind of a fun video to kind of challenge myself to do something like this, and I hope it maybe inspires you guys to dive into your like sample collection and see if you can kind of put some of them to use. You might just fall in love with some of them, and it's also just kind of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you would like to subscribe, we would love to have you. We have so much fun here, and until next time, I will see y'all in our next video. Bye guys.